Hey, Big Sound Small Town is in the Earl Scruggs Center today, and I'm honored to have with me Phillip Jenkins.
Glad to be here with you.
Well, I tell you, I guess your music roots run deep.
Yeah, they sure do. Way back to the turn of the 19th century, really.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, my great uncle was Snuffy Jenkins, which he was born like 1908. He was the youngest in the Jenkins family, and he grew up following my grandfather around a lot to sawmills. My grandfather was a sawyer, and he'd go all over the country cutting wood. Snuffy, he'd go with him, and I think that's where he learned to come up with that washboard stuff he played. And the story goes, my grandfather walked to Forest City one time to get some coffee, a flour or something. Walked the railroad track all the way from Harris, North Carolina, to Forest City.
Pretty good haul.
Yeah, and when he come back, he had a fiddle. And that's what I've heard Snuffy tell. He started them playing. You know, Snuffy's daddy and my grandfather did. They said they never did play any instruments, but they danced.
Yeah.
But that's what influenced Snuffy to start playing. And
Snuffy start with a fiddle?
He started trying to play the guitar, and he said that thing was so hard on his fingers he just couldn't pick it, you know. And then I think he might have tried a little bit with the fiddle, but he ended up with that banjo, you know. And he said he really liked that thing, you know, because it wasn't so hard on his fingers, you know.
Well, it's we might as well go. I mean, he's one of the innovators of modern banjo sound.
Yeah.
I mean, not clawhammer. You know, that's the beginning, I guess, is clawhammer. But Snuffy was one of the ones who totally revolutionized banjo.
Yeah. I mean, that's what my understanding is. You know, him and there was a couple guys, one of them named Rex Brooks, and another guy was named Smith Hammett up around where we live up in Cleveland, Rutherford County. They was, I guess they were just sitting around figuring out how can we do something different.
Better.
Yeah, and I know they was doing two finger because I've seen Snuffy do interviews on YouTube, of course, and he would show claw hammer, and then they'd go to doing two finger, and then they'd go to three finger. Yeah, exactly. So, and I've heard several people, Jen Mills, John Hartford, a lot of them tell me that Snuffy was the original one to be, what he was credited for was to being the first one to ever hear that style on the radio. That three finger picking style was first heard on the radio with Snuffy Jenkins doing
Snuffy Jenkins.
That's right.
And yeah, I've heard that. I mean, I've been around these parts a long time, and that's the way I've always heard it. You know, we're in the Earl Scruggs Center, and I don't know if that's blasphemy or not. But, you know, it's you know, it is. Well, Earl just took it to a broader level. He had a larger audience.
Right.
You know?
And you know, my daddy, his name was Orin Jenkins, and he also played the banjo, played with Jim and Jess back in the 50s, as well as my Uncle Hope Jenkins played with Jim and Jess. And, you know, Hope influenced a lot of bluegrassers coming up.
Yeah.
And, but there was some gentleman family lived down there close to us in Harris, North Carolina. They were the Hunt Singers, and there was a real good duet singing family. Played mandolin and guitar, and you know, Clayton was a mandolin player, and he one time got to be the I can't remember who it was that come. He was wanted to go play the mandolin for one of those groups, the brother groups. One of them had passed away.
Right.
But anyway, Clayton always told me they could put my daddy and Earl Scruggs in the room side by side.
Right.
and you couldn't tell one
which
from
one
the
was
other.
who. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I love that because that is it's part of banjo history and this area's history of music too. So that had to influence you. I mean, I guess you grew up.
oh Lord, yeah.
Music all in your life, right?
Yeah, you know, when I was little, I'd listen to a song, and if a song come on doesn't have banjo in it, I wonder, there's something wrong. Where's the banjo?
I bet so.
I mean, it's banjo music 24/7, you know, at my house.
Yeah, I'm
you
sure
know,
there
where
was.
I grew up,
Yeah.
you know. Especially Snuffy'd come up about every 3 months and give us a haircut and down at my granddaddy's house, and they'd have a big sawhorses with plywood laid out in the yard, food on it, and we just, you know,
cool.
picking. And I mean, you know, I just grew up with it ever since I can remember, you know.
So when did you decide that you wanted to play?
Well, actually, I was 5 years old, and I heard Johnny Cash
Oh yeah.
playing the Folsom Prison Blues, and I was thinking, man, I want to know how to do that. And my mom and daddy went over to Western Alto up in Forest City and bought me a little guitar, and I still got that. That's the first song I ever learned, folks.
So you did learn it?
When I was 5 years old.
You learned it. That's
And you know, when I grew up, I played rock and roll music, country music, and you know, a little bit of bluegrass. And while my daddy was still alive, he passed away at a young age, like 50.
Yeah.
And but he got sick when he was 45. But before he passed away, me and him got to pick a little bit.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
You know, just a little bit. I wished I got more time.
I was going
with
to
him.
ask you, did you get to pick with him?
Yeah, he come picked a couple shows with us.
That's
He did,
good.
you know.
That's good.
But when he passed away, you know, that's when I made up my mind that, you know, I need to learn how to play that banjo.
Yeah,
because
I wondered when that came in.
yeah, there were no more boys in the Jenkins family, and I was the last.
Right.
I was the only boy, so
Right.
if it was going to be carried on to somebody,
It'd have to be you.
that's right. So that's what made me want to, you know.
Did you have a teacher? I mean, since by the time you decided banjo, yeah, you didn't have a straight family teacher, did you?
Well, Snuffy was still alive.
Snuffy was still alive.
Yeah, and he showed me, you know, I'd go to his house. He lived in Columbia every once in a while. My mother would take me down there, and Dan Paget, he showed me some stuff.
Dan,
There's a man up in Forest City, his name was Thurman Ramsey. He showed me some stuff. He's another good friend of mine up there named Roger Holland. Me and him picked. I mean, you know, just picking and learning, you know, sitting and listening. And Earl Scruggs records too, because I used to burn the needles off of them, you know, because there wasn't no YouTube to learn nothing off of.
That's the same way with me. Drop that needle.
Yeah, and of course that record my daddy and them made with Jim and Jess, I do this, you know, this old school 101's the way I learned.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, really, that's really the best way. I mean, I learned stuff. Then when YouTube came along, I also learned some stuff wrong.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Or maybe I didn't, but there's a different version of what I learned. You know,
exactly. So, you know, if I had YouTube when I come up, I'd get Eddie Van Halen run for his money.
I like that stuff. I'd like to be able to have that at that age. You know.
Yeah.
But
different times.
Different times. But then I guess was that your main instrument for a while? Was the banjo?
Yeah. Well, in my teens, I went to the Navy, and when I got out of the Navy, I really bared down on trying to do that banjo. And you know, I picked, you know, a lot on it, you know.
Yeah.
And then I go back and pick the guitar, you know. I just love to pick, you know.
No, I mean, I saw it there today when you were playing that. You had the Jimmy Martin run going and all on the, you know, out there when you were doing a Jimmy Martin, you had Jimmy, right?
Yeah, well,
you know, and that's one of those things that, you know, that's a little bluegrass separator when you do I think everybody pretty much has, you know, the Lester Flatt runs down, but a lot of people miss on the Jimmy Martin stuff, you know, and Jimmy Martin was
killer.
Actually, yeah, he was.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was.
Jimmy was a difficult guy, but he was a
he could do it.
Killer rhythm guitar player.
And you know, if you play bluegrass, you got to have that bass and that rhythm
You do.
guitar. It just don't make it.
No, you don't. You gotta have that. You gotta have that walking stuff along with it to sit the stuff up.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, now, so this is where we're going else today. So I see you out here in front today playing with some young guns, you know. So I take it at some point, were you involved with the jam program?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm still a teacher with them.
Okay.
I've been one with that group for about 12 years. I believe it's about 12 years.
I do think that that's one of the best programs, music programs of any type around.
Oh yeah.
I advocate for one here all the time.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
players here that could do the teaching, but
Oh, yeah.
but so far that hasn't happened. But I've noticed that the ones in Tryon, the ones down in Pickens, there's some awfully
Oh, yeah.
good jam programs. You know?
And the kids are like,
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they come in droves for that.
That's great though. I mean,
Yeah.
But and what I think is funny is upper state South Carolina has some really good young bluegrass players, and for the most part over the years South Carolina's been almost a bluegrass dry state, you know.
Right.
I mean, there's
Right.
been very, very little bluegrass there.
Yeah.
I mean, North Carolina's slam full, but South Carolina just across the line,
Yeah.
not so much, you know.
Right. That's right.
Yet now you got all those young kids coming up from out of there, and they're good.
Oh yeah. And
Those guys you were playing with today were just excellent.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are sharp now. And you know, I wish Rutherford and Cleveland County would have a jam
Be
program.
great because
I'd come help teach somebody.
yeah, I
what
would
I
too.
do.
You know, I do the same. I've told Mary about that. You know, I'll come in here and teach fiddle or upright bass. You know, I'll come do that.
And you know, it's fun and relaxing too, all at the same time. To me, it is. You know,
Yeah, it
it's
is.
kind of like medicine.
It kind of is. I can see that. And you know, I enjoy watching young people learn and watch them develop. I mean, two guys you had today, they've really developed.
Oh yeah.
But there's a bunch of good ones. I mean, they may not all be at that level yet from down where, I guess you do yours in Tryon. Is that what you do?
Yeah, that's where I teach.
You know, I'm sure they're not all as good as those two guys, but
No, but you can
But-
see them coming up,
Come.
and you can tell which ones are good,
yeah,
getting it. You
I'm
know?
sure. I mean, those are the ones that are dedicated.
Oh yeah.
Go out and do it. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, so are you playing a lot these days?
I just every chance I get, I go play because I'm still working.
Oh, you still working?
Still working for a living.
Yeah, I heard you say your hands was beat up a little bit today.
Yeah, we've been working pretty hard over at the plant there where I work, Rutherford and Timpkin plant there.
Yeah.
But you know,
Well, I've learned over the years, like, and it made me think. And I was talking with Mike Lynch out there, and we was having a discussion that, you know, I've learned that if I use my hands hard before I have to go play, like working during the day or something, I can't play as well.
no,
You know?
it really affects you.
It really, people don't realize that don't play.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're lucky enough to not have a job, I guess you don't have to worry about that. But I've really noticed that over the years that, yeah, it affects your playing.
Oh yeah. You know, if you do it full time, you just either do the picking full
Sure.
time, or
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's tough. It's a tough life. You
Oh,
know,
it's a
I
tough
traveled for probably 17 years with the Forest City boys
Right.
up there, and we
Yeah.
run around, but I still work
Yeah.
third shift.
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
I mean I've done that. I worked another job and worked, and I've also taken time off from jobs to go play music.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. People don't understand how tough it is.
Yeah.
Because at best it's a traveling second shift job
Oh yeah.
/ third shift. You know, at times it gets to the end of third shift, but
Absolutely.
I think that I think the state of bluegrass and acoustic music is real good these days,
Yeah.
and acts are finally getting paid probably what they always should have been being paid. But you know, it's always been, some people played country over the years because they could make more money. But then, you know, there's a real lure to bluegrass.
Well, you know, like Ben Humphreys, you know, he was the one that started the Snuffy Jenkins Festival at Cliffside Harris. And he would always say, if you come across the field and you hear a banjo playing down there and you can't stomp your foot to it, something's wrong with you.
True. That's true. And you know, it's well, bluegrass for the most part is a feel-good dancing music, really.
Yeah.
Particularly, well, when you got a fiddle and a banjo, you got a straight-up dance hall, really. You know.
Yep, that's right.
People, best I've learned over the years is people do three things when they come out to hear music. They either talk with the other people there and don't listen, they really listen, or they want to dance.
Yeah.
There's not much in between.
Yeah.
You know? So you know, I don't know what you got going on in the future coming up.
Well, we're going to be down at the IBMA again.
Okay.
I think they're fixing to move that somewhere this year, but I believe we're scheduled to go down there and play
Still
for
in
that.
Raleigh.
Yeah, still
Down
in
in
Raleigh.
Yeah, I hear it's going to Chattanooga, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, who knows? But
Who knows?
we've got to go down there and play
Yeah,
the
that's
last
good.
couple of years, and I really love it. You know, it's a good thing.
Who all are you playing with now?
Well, I play with those two guys
Yeah.
here, Carson Moore and
Yeah.
Will Tracus. I play with them a lot. And
Yeah.
there's some boys up around the house, Lance Smith, Eric Bradley. I play with them a little
That's
bit. You know, just whoever wants me to come pick, and if I'm able to, I'll go do it. You know.
I understand that. Well, it's kind of a hot day, and you just had a hot show outside. It was a really good show. And I appreciate you taking time to come do this.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you letting me do it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.